7. She is a master delegator. Her husband runs a very large farm, and they have a very, very busy life with their family. So where is Miss Chatney at? There she is. Would you please welcome up on the subject of delegation, Miss Chatney Gelfius.
Sorry for my scratchy voice. I'll call it the sexy bedroom voice today instead of I have a cold. I get to talk to you today about delegation, so something really practical. When we were at Pace Centers the other day, I heard Linda say something that made a lot of sense when I was sitting in the audience. And she talked about how she's really been surprised as she went from town to town that when her consultant had $200 worth of product and one customer, or $10,000 of product and a customer base, everyone was really excited and proud to tell her what their system was for their product, how their product looked on their shelf, or how they packaged it, or their office, and they were really excited about this pretty office. And, we hear on this tape that she ran a very successful business out of like the milk cartons and a desk she got at a yard sale or something. So that made a lot of sense to me. Going back, it gave me this flashback of what my house and office looked like the year we won our first trip. And the eye-opening part of that was, if you were in my unit the year we won our first trip, which are a couple of people who are here today, you remember the sales meetings that were in the smallest house I've ever lived in the tiniest training center I ever lived in, and we had the largest meeting. We had a lot of fun. But if you came to my house, the very last meeting that we had at my house was a training center that was about half of this size of the stage. It was maybe 6 of these little squares, was our training center. And we had 36 people there the last night that we had a meeting. And I had to give goodie bags to all my neighbors to say, I'm so sorry you could not get into your driveway last night, because there were so many people in the streets and down the streets and in my neighborhood. I actually recruited someone for taking bags door to door. But anyway, but that meeting was the meeting that if you had showed up to my house 30 minutes before the meeting started, I would have still been in a bra and underwear, and there would have been a mess in the meeting room because I had the best of intentions this week of getting that stuff cleaned up, okay? But my office was like a bomb would explode, and so I would stick all of the crap that I had dumped out into the meeting room, I'd stick it back in my office, and then when everyone would leave, I'd stick it back out in the big room because I was going to clean it. And the way I clean is I don't know if anyone can relate, but I'm really OCD. So if I went to clean something in my house, I would end up dumping out all the drawers. Can anyone relate? It was like, oh my gosh, I can't just do this. I have to do this. I can't just clean up my house. I can't just put clothes away. I have to refold all 32 bras. Okay? Something like that. So that's what our office looks like every time. And so amongst the mass chaos and the disorganization, what I realized when Linda said that is that now it doesn't look like that. Okay, now my office looks great and orderly, and I love that feeling. I hated the feeling. I did. If you had come 30 minutes early, because people do, I would have had this horrible look on my face like, oh my goodness, you know my secret. You know I'm messy and disorganized and chaotic. And you know what? That didn't stop us from being successful. Our very best trip-winning year was in a house that was disorganized and chaotic. I didn't have peace and harmony running a business like that, but that did not keep me from success. So if you're the person that says, as soon as I get organized, then I will be successul, I can promise you, you didn't have success in a complete wreck of a house and office, okay? So, I will say that disorganization is not keeping you from success, because I was just as successful. We did 150,000 less production this year than we did then, but I got a nationals office, okay? Now, which way would I like it? I want both, okay? I want the nationals office. I want $1 million in a national area put together. But there's a good balance of both, and I think balance is something you can purchase, okay? So, did disorganization keep us from success? No. Did it make me crazy? Yes. So when you catch yourself saying, as soon as I get organized, X, Y, Z will happen, you got to just cut that out, because organization, or being the most organized person in the world, does not create more production. It does not. Okay? Your head creates more production. In the movie Facing the Giants, which I watched again last night, I know you guys are like, do you have any other movies you can quote from? But in the movie Facing the Giants, last night, what I heard and what stuck out is when David's dad asked him, did you give it your best, son? And he said, I knew I was going to miss it before I kicked it. And he said, what? Your actions will always follow your most predominant thought. Your actions will always follow your beliefs, David. Your actions will always follow your beliefs. And so when we were the disorganized, dysfunctional, little Mary Kay Land group that was doing $800,000 in production a year, my belief was that we could do $800,000 in production. My belief was that I didn't need to get that all fixed before I could be successful. And somewhere along the way, my belief became, as soon as this happens, then this will happen. As soon as we have this next baby, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do this, then. And I was waiting for all the ducks to get in a row. Just like people in our unit wait for all the ducks to get in a row and all the lights to turn green. It never all turns green. There's always something else that will happen that will hold you back. So stop that. You're ready right now. This organization is not stopping you. However, if you would like peace and harmony while you're doing X, Y, Z and on your way to the top, then this is my suggestion for having peace and harmony. Because I have way more peace. I would not yell at you or be upset or start crying when you left if you showed up 30 minutes early to my family meeting now. It'd be pretty much ready for you. So I do think there's a way to do both. But how many of you have a honey-do list somewhere at your house? Please, somebody beside me do this list right here. Okay? So that honey-do list. Well, part of nesting is that my honey-do list was 42 items long. And gasping in the audience. Okay, so I had broken down the honey-do list into all the parts, into every room. So one thing that I had done is organize every room in my house. Okay, I had this 6-sheet paper, it had every room in my house, and it had all these things in that room that drove me crazy. Okay, so I had a master honey-do list of all the items. Every room had something, and it's the little things. It's not something that would have taken someone a really long time, but when your husband farms until 9 o'clock at night, you eat dinner at 9:30 and you put your kids to bed, there's really not a lot of room for all the little things that need done. And it was like the toilet paper holder on the wall. All my kids didn't have any way to lift themselves onto the toilet, and so they used the toilet paper as a ledge. And so all the toilet paper rolls had fallen off the wall and I had every day that I had used the bathroom, I had to reach behind me on the toilet to grab the toilet paper, and every time I did that, I went, it was just that daily the toilet paper is still back there. I lived here 10 months, it's still back there. It's right here. And there's 2 holes looking at me every time I have to pee, okay? So it's making me crazy. And all those things that make you crazy, if you don't have a plan, 42 things on a list that are making you go, steal your joy. Okay? So you either have to not give a crud that you got holes in your wall, or if you care, you have to figure out a way to get rid of the holes in every bathroom and the toilet paper that takes you exercising to get to all the time. Okay? So, and I do not care how much money you make or how good you cook or how great your sex is. No husband wants 42 things on a honey-do list. Okay? He is just not looking forward to 42 items on the honey-do list, no matter how many great things you have in place. So, my plan was that I had to buy balance. Now, I will say that Linda says that men really are concerned with 3 things: food, sex, and money. Okay. So, I will say you need to reserve. I got it. 1 minute. Okay. So, you need to reserve the food, sex, and money to pay the person to do all the things on the list. But I will say that I got all 42 things on the list done. It took him 5 days. I hired someone at $35 an hour, and it took less than $2,000. Now, in case you're saying, I don't have $2,000, that's great. I will say that finding someone to fix everything in your life, that you got to figure out what that's worth to you. And that new timeline repair, if you haven't figured out a way to sell it to people, everybody wants it. And so I would take that time-wise repair. I have traded a year's worth of baby pictures for one set of time-wise repair. And I've traded someone 2 years of their little boy's clothes for one set of time-wise repair. So it is the best bartering tool you've got. And so you've got everybody that wants it. Figure out a way to pay a handyman in time-wise repair sets if you need to. But